Hi, my name is Ruby Adamson. I am your new Miss Australia International for 2019, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I'm here with Miss Australia International 2019, Ruby Adamson. Ruby, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Did you want to look at all the cameras?
Hello. Hello.
It's taken a while to get here, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, we've had some misadventures along the way. So Ruby, for the people watching, you've had significant pageantry experience.
Yes, I have.
So why don't you walk us through from the very beginning to where we are now, where you are this pageant veteran?
Of course. So for me, I started pageantry when I was 13 years old. I came into pageantry thinking it was a modelling experience, and I learnt that it wasn't. I started when I was 13 years old in a particular system, and then in 2015 I applied for the Miss Teen Australia International pageant and was lucky enough to win that and actually go over and experience that in America. So it's been a couple of years, but I've come back to this one because I just felt it's where I belonged. All of its mottos, really is what I go by. So I've come back and now I'm here.
Okay. So when you say you're 13, so just to clarify, you're 19 now.
Yes.
So 6 years of experience. So you've been doing pageantry basically for 1/3 of your life.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's funny because I actually did my first modelling competition when I was 3 years old. But I only
How much of that do you remember? What did you have to do?
Well, it was a great little competition. It was a lot of fun. I went and did a turn because I was like, I'm sassy and cool and could do anything. And I blew a kiss to the back of the stage. But hey.
At 3 years old?
Yeah. And
I know 3-year-olds who can't walk.
I actually was runner-up in that, which was incredible. But my mum was like, I don't particularly if you want to do this later in your life, then that's great. But right now you're young, you need to focus on being a child. So if you want to do it again, we'll go back into it. But for now, let's just be a kid.
So so you said that was when you were 3, and then you started pageantry when you were 13. So was there like a 10-year gap where you? Yeah,
just like focusing on school and just having fun and being a kid.
Okay, so what attracts you to the pageantry world? Like what are the aspects of it that you enjoy?
Well, I think with pageantry, modelling is you're basically a coat hanger. You're there to
that's fair.
Show off the clothes.
Yeah.
And with pageantry, you're showing off the best person that you are to the audience. And it's also a lot of pageants. There is some that are focused on beauty, but a lot of them are focused on charity and community. And I think that's fantastic because having a little brother who has Down syndrome, I want to be able to go out and be a voice for that ability.
So talk to us more about that. So your younger brother, Mackie, has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to interview you is because I can see that you legitimately care about it.
Yeah.
We were talking before the camera started rolling. There are people who will say, for example, they're a mental health advocate, but none of their posts have anything to do with mental health. Maybe there's a hashtag in there, but you definitely, you just did a fundraiser.
Yes, I did.
It's still going, right?
Yeah, it's still going. It's a challenge. It's the hashtag Let's Get Odd challenge.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So Let's Get Odd. So what do you have to do for Let's Get Odd?
So every year for World Down Syndrome Day, Down Syndrome Australia gets people to go out and wear their odd socks and step up for Down syndrome and speak up in support, which I think is fantastic. So I just created this challenge, which has gone basically for the whole of this month leading up to the 21st. And I'm just asking people to wear odd socks, take a photo, and hashtag Let's Get Odd.
So when you say odd socks, you mean like socks that don't match?
Yeah, I had on the other day.
Because a lot of people, I think, do that by accident anyway.
No, the other day I had red and white striped, and then on the other ones was burgers. So.
Was that intentional?
No, it was just. It was very Macca's vibe. It's okay.
So what is your, I don't know if you have one, but what's your overall aim with obviously getting behind Down syndrome? Is there something that you're aiming for in terms of a fundraising goal or like an end goal? Like where do you want to get to?
So for me, it's an awareness project, not necessarily funding. But for me, there's so many people who have Down syndrome that don't get equal opportunities because they have this ability and people think, because it is an intellectual disability, you can't do this, you're not smart enough, you don't feasibly have the skills to actually do this. And I think if you have the qualifications for that job, you should be able to go in and do the interview no matter what. It doesn't matter if you have an ability or not. So for me, it's going out there and just basically saying to everyone in general that you can be whoever you want to be. And if you want to get into a particular thing and study for it and work hard, then you deserve that opportunity.
So what do you think, in your experience, has been the biggest, I guess, misconception that people have about Down syndrome? Because I was coaching tennis, and that's how I first came across it. I had 2 students in my class who had Down syndrome. At that stage, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I could see they were different, but I treated them the same as everyone else, which I think they really enjoyed. But what has been the biggest misconception, or if there's one message that you wanted to put out to people, what would it be?
Well, it's the thing is people with Down syndrome, they don't have any limitations. We put limitations on them, and it's not fair, because at the end of the day, they're people. The thing that defines them is one extra chromosome, and that's it. So for me, it's just making sure that people are aware that they're still people. They need to be treated as a person. Yeah.
And how have you found, I don't know if it's different, like back, as I said, when I think it was probably about 10 years ago, it was a bit of a difference then. So how have you found it? Is it getting better?
I definitely feel it is getting better because in we'll say the older times.
Thanks, Ruby.
Older times, yes. It was that thing is, this child is different. We kind of need to eradicate that. And it's still got, I think in Iceland, I believe, as soon as you find out you have Down syndrome, the child is terminated.
Wow, okay.
Which is crazy. So we're so lucky to actually live in Australia where you can get that scan done and it can tell you exactly if that child has Down syndrome or not. But even then, because mums are not educated on it, they just immediately are like, oh, I don't know how to deal with that. I can't do this. Yeah. But it just comes down to actually setting up even classes and educating the mums what Down syndrome is like. Put them in a class with someone with Down syndrome so they can get a feel for what it's like before they decide to either terminate or not terminate. So what are the, I mean, you've mentioned a couple there, but are there any resources you could recommend to, let's say, young mothers or young about to be mothers so they can educate themselves as to exactly what it's like? Well, yeah, there was a petition I put up the other day about this because there isn't really anything put in place to educate the mums and let them know what Down syndrome is. So that's why I'm actually working with Down Syndrome Australia, because they're a fantastic organisation that works in different states. So they have New South Wales, Queensland, West Australia, and then just Australia. Yep. But they're a voice for Down syndrome. That's what they are. They go in to, our government and let them know the issues that are happening and how we need to fix that. So I think just get in contact with them if you have any issues at all. If you're concerned about what your child's going to be like, talk to them. What about in school? Because I know that bullying is a concern for a lot of people, both in school and their parents. And I can only imagine that if you have Down syndrome, that it's not going to make some people's journey easier. Yeah. So are there any resources that you could recommend for either parents or students who are going through it that have Down syndrome to help make it a bit easier? Well, a lot of children who have Down syndrome will be put in a special class. They won't be with the other kids. So then, they're not really getting the social connection that they should get, but they're safe from any bullying, really. But next month, I'm putting my package together for I Am campaign, and I'm going to present that into the schools, and that's about acceptance and learning to love yourself and value yourself. Nice. So that's kind of something I'm putting in place to raise awareness for Down syndrome, but just everyone worldwide. Absolutely. Let's switch to is it a crown or tiara? It's a crown. I'd say crown. It's a crown. I'd say crown. I get in trouble whenever I call it the wrong thing. It's a crown. Let's talk about the crown. Yes. So you have represented the system. This is twice now. Yes. Right? Which means you must enjoy it. Yes, of course. So what is it? I mean, you mentioned it briefly, but let's go into more detail about the system itself and why. So you originally were in the teen. You represented the teen, being overseas. Obviously, you didn't have enough because now you're the miss and you want to go overseas again. Yes, yeah. You're not leaving any space for anyone else to have a go. And then when I get married, I'll do the misses. And then if I get divorced, I'll do the miss. But yeah. Well, you really planned this I've planned. Okay. So before we go too in depth, why this system? Well, that you're prepared to get divorced. First off, kind of why the reason I came back was as a teen, I was shy. I'm I'm a relatable teenager girl, okay? I was shy, didn't know who I was, where I wanted to be. So I didn't really get out of my bubble and do as much as I wanted to during my reign. So I was like, I've got to give this another shot and give it my all. But the reason I love this system so much is because it's very traditional and modest, and I'm a very modest person even with the way I dress. It's very ladylike. And as I said, it's a traditional system. It's like old Miss Universe, like 1990, whatever. It's just got this difference to it that many pageants don't have. And I'm one of those people that if it's different or hasn't really been heard of, I have to watch it or I have to give it a go or something. I just like to be different. So that really works for me because I'm a unique person and this is a unique system.
Okay, so describe other ways that you are a unique person. Because let's imagine someone's watching this and has no idea who you are.
Okay, yes.
And I've learned some things about you that I'm going like, okay, I did not expect that. Because, you know, you got the crown on your head, you got the sash.
Yeah.
So people will immediately jump to conclusions. That's just the way human beings are.
Of course.
So what are some of the lesser known, well-known facts about Ruby Adamson that you might be able to surprise people with?
Well, let's
start with the slightly less...
My all-time favourite one that we all know about is I'm a huge gaming nerd. Absolutely love gaming. I am super interested in the unsolved murder mysteries. I play Dungeons and Dragons, which is one of the oldest games in the world, and I absolutely adore it. And I'm a photographer. When I'm in photography mode, you would have seen there's no makeup and hair not done. I'm here to do a job.
It was very different.
It is very
I almost
different.
didn't recognize you.
And also, which you may or may not, I have a huge addiction to sloths as well.
How can one be addicted to sloths? I mean, I assume you don't eat them or inhale them.
Well, if you turn around,
I know.
We have 2 sloths there. I have 4 other sloth plush toys in my bedroom.
Have you actually seen a real one?
No, because most of the sloths reside in Costa Rica. So
are you sure you have a sloth thing, or you're just a sloth stuffed toy thing?
No, I do. I follow many Instagram pages with sloths that involve sloths. I love them to bits, and I think
there are Instagram pages.
I think there is.
Well, okay. Someone wants to follow an Instagram page that has what's an account you can recommend?
Well, the main one is the Sloth Sanctuary in Costa Rica.
Okay.
They post many, many pictures, and many videos that you will see about sloths will be from them.
Okay.
But I really like them, and I know this is going to sound bad because they're a derpy animal. They're not the smartest. They're not the smartest, and I don't know. I think they're really adorable.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Back up a bit and talk to us about the gaming for a second. So, I mean, you're the second pageant queen that I've interviewed who has been in gaming. I interviewed Amelia Conway, who actually is a Twitch. I don't know how much she's doing now, but she streams on Twitch.
Yeah.
So what is it about gaming that attracts you? And I do like the fact that girls are getting into it more.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know why more.
So how did you get into it in the beginning?
Well, from a very early age, I just used to sit behind my brother and watch him play the old Lara Croft game, which I love.
What, like old school Tomb Raider?
Old
the
original
one?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Old.
Yeah.
The sound effects in that are amazing.
I remember getting eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, that...
I wasn't impressed. But continue.
Strange, but yeah. But no, from basically watching him, I've just always loved it because it just takes you to a completely different universe. And most of the storylines are actually better than TV shows and movies.
Oh, definitely. Agree with that one.
They're just so like, how could you think of that storyline? Like, that's incredible. So I just, based on the whole narrative side of things, that's what I'm interested in. I think gaming does that really well.
Favorite game of all time?
Oh, God, don't do this to me.
Let's start with favorite genre.
Favorite genre? Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And favorite game of all time?
Fragile Dreams. Which it's not a popular game. This is where I come back to I like things that are not popular and different. But that particular game, basically give you a bit of a rundown, is...
No spoilers, please.
No.
We'll get hate for spoiler alert.
It is an older game, but basically what happens is you think you're the last person on the earth. This project happened that wiped out most of the population. Anyway, you end up finding someone who is still alive, and then she goes missing. And it's all just about that whole thing of, what if you were the last person on earth? How do you deal with that? And if you find someone who's alive, like that social connection, because you would have forgotten it because it's been so long since you've had that. So it's just really cool. And there's ghosts and stuff in it from the past, and there's just awesome storyline. All, you know, as games do, it's all these dots that connect to one at the end, and you're like, oh, mind explosion.
What's the name of the game again?
Fragile Dreams.
And what platform is it on?
Oh, it is on PlayStation, I believe.
PlayStation.
Yes.
Okay. This has become like a gaming interview. I love it.
Yes.
Very, very different to what we normally talk about. So what else keeps you busy? So we've got the gaming, we've got obviously your strong advocacy for Down syndrome, and then you have to represent your systems. So you study, working, like what keeps you busy?
I am studying interior design at the Interior Design Institute. And next year I may actually be given an opportunity to work in image consultancy, which is really cool. It's very similar to interior design. So I already know like what colours suit this and that. So it's interesting, but I may be given that opportunity next year.
Okay, so image consultancy, as in terms of a person's personal image, right?
Yes.
Okay, so give me some tips. I need some tips.
Some tips.
Because I love that you're wearing green, and it just seems to fit in. Like this all looks like that side anyway looks really, really on point. Give me some tips. Help me out.
Some tips. Okay, well, probably my favourite tip that I've learnt is when you're doing an interview and the colour you wear projects how passionate you are or not. Okay. So royal blue or any forms of blue are a solid colour. They project that you're passionate and that you're controlled and focused, while greens are a bit more laid back and natural. So going into a pageant interview, even though green is fantastic, some greens are okay, but let's say emerald or an olive green, they're a bit relaxed. So that immediately judges look at you and based off that colour will kind of go, oh, she seems like she's a little too relaxed and not, like she'll kind of sit back and see what happens, not go out and actually. Okay. So blue is one of those main colours that if you want to project yourself in a very determined and confident way, wear blue.
Are there any colours that one should avoid?
One should avoid. Well, it depends on your skin colour and tones.
I've heard that orange makes people angry. Is that true?
I kind of like orange, but once again, that's yellow and orange are very fun colours. It's going to present that you're a fun person. I don't think there's a particular colour one shouldn't wear, but I mean, white and black are a little bit on the boring side, so I always try and choose a bit of colour.
I do this so everyone else shines.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
This is also the only shirt that I have at the moment because my life has been crazy.
Oh, nice.
So what do you have any, I mean, you're only 19, but I mean, like, age is one thing and life experience is completely different. You seem a bit like an old soul. Oh. Oldish soul.
I'm like 50 on the inside.
Okay, good to know. So do you have any goals in particular for yourself, whether pageantry or otherwise, like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Well, at this point in time, I want to team up with my director. I've helped her out a lot this year with because she, English is her second language. So it's understanding how to put something forward in a way that people are going to want to grasp onto. So I've helped her a lot this year, and I would really like to co-direct, if that's the word, and help her out for the remaining years because I love this system. I love what it's about, and I want to be able to be here and help the girls out throughout the years.
So when you say co-direct, what are some of the things that you are looking forward to getting your hands on? Because you've mentioned the photography. Obviously, you do illustrations as well.
Yes.
And then there's gaming, which obviously, so you know your way around social media. So what are some of the things that you look forward to being able to play with?
Well, the biggest thing for me is graphically presenting yourself on social media and business cards and autograph cards and websites. It's presenting who you are and your personality in a great way. So for me, it's making sure that the girls, you know, have the best headshots they can have and that their website is up to date and that they're doing blogs once a week.
I don't know hardly any of them that actually even have websites. This is the thing that's been kind of bugging me.
And this is the thing.
They have Facebook pages, which I don't really update. They have Instagram, but no website. I
have my own website and I made that on Wix, completely free. If you want, you can get a template already made up or you can do it yourself because I'm me. I have to do it all by myself and make it different. But yeah, so the thing is, there's so many ways to graphically present yourself and it's just making sure that those girls take up that opportunity and do those things.
So how did you get into the photography side of things? Was that just an accident?
Well, it was kind of an accident. I mean, I've always loved capturing memories and moments in a camera, basically. And I am really good at drawing, and just the whole art thing, that creative side.
Very creative, yep.
I love it. So for me, photography was that I get to make someone else happy and capture their moments by doing something I love.
Does anyone ever get a photo back and just hate it, as in terms of they think they look like completely hideous? Because I've taken some photos and some videos of people and they look at it and the first thing they say is, oh my God, I look so fat. Do you ever get that?
We try to avoid that, but there is, because I get rid of any photos of them with their eyes closed.
The creepy eye ones.
But you will get things back and you'll be like, I like this photo, but my hand looks really weird. Can you fix it? Or tan line is the one where you have the white pale hand and then the...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't have
that's
to.
That's fine. But you get that a lot where it's like, right. My eye looks like a different size to the other one. Can you fix that up? It's very interesting, but it's also that thing before and after.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't, especially with the teens, I don't like to edit them too much because I still want them to look the way they are. But with many other people, like my section, Miss, Mrs., Ms., they obviously have an idea of the way they want to look. And it's like, how can you make me look like the person in my head that I want to look like? When
they don't look like that in real life.
Yeah, and it's very interesting.
That's called Photoshop.
It's called Photoshop.
Just so you know.
It's very interesting, but and it's weird, in all my photos, I don't notice it generally, but in my photos, one of my eyes, my iris is wonky.
Now you know what I'm going to be looking at the rest of this.
I know, but it's not circular. It's kind of have oval, and I notice it in my photos, and it's really weird, but I don't even notice it looking at myself in the mirror. No, I need to stop.
Yeah. I don't notice anything, just for the record.
Yeah.
So you've been in front of the camera, you've been behind the camera. Yeah. So do you have any posing tips?
Posing tips.
Because I found headshots, at least for me, not that I have headshots.
One of the things that people don't really think about, but posing, you never put your arm flat on you. You always make sure that it's bent a little bit.
What do you mean by flat?
I mean, don't have your arm resting directly.
So
because then you're going to get not that I really have it, but
the flabby bit?
The flabby bit.
The chicken wing?
So it's always good when you pose to just lift your arm out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It just makes things look a lot nicer. And then it tenses this bit here so your bone structure looks a bit nicer as well.
And what do you do with awkward hand syndrome? Because that's what I always have. Where do I put my hands?
Some people are naturally good with their hands. Some are not.
I'm not.
If that's the case, I advise them not to use their hands.
But where do you have to put them somewhere? You can't just get rid of them.
That's with the posing, you always...
So where should I put my hands? Where should I put my hands? And where should a girl put her hands?
Well, if we're talking photo-wise, always kind of thigh or hip and bends, and so you do that fierce pose. Okay. And guys, it's just... I don't really know. I don't photograph a lot of guys. I'm pageant girls.
I just put them in my pockets. Yeah. Awkward hands.
Oh, the pocket, the stance, I'm real cool. Look at this. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that happening. Okay, let me ask you a question. Maybe you might have to think about this a bit more. What's the hardest lesson you've had to learn from pageantry?
From pageantry? The hardest thing, which I'm still getting, but I'm pretty good, is learning not to care what other people think. Because the main thing is if you value yourself, you love who you are, then that's the most important thing. You shouldn't have to worry about what other people think. And I've been in an experience where and pretty much most of my life, I've not been good enough. Never been good enough. So for me, it's getting over that fact of I am good enough and I'm going to prove you wrong. It's basically been my whole life is just making sure that I'm out there and I'm challenging myself and I'm like, look at me, I can do it. I am good enough.
How do you do that, though? Because you are not the only girl. I'm not the only person. A lot of
many people go through it. Yeah.
So how did you turn that around from the thinking of I'm not good enough to...
Well, there will be a point in your life that you'll be like, this has got to stop.
I had enough.
I've just had enough, basically. And for me, it was just, I'm purposely going to push out of my little bubble and go out into the world and do things I want really do. And now I'm here speaking confidently in front of multiple people, doing what I love and being in my community and having fun and talking to everyone I can possibly talk to.
Do people have any misconceptions about you? Do you have like recurring misconceptions? I mean,
A
especially
lot of people, I think it's just because I am so confident in myself. Like, if you don't talk to me and you just kind of look at me from far away, people are like, oh my God, she's up herself. But I don't think that at all. So for me, it is that thing, like, it's like, come talk to me first before you make
a judgment about
me. And then we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. Let me ask you another deeper, meaningful question.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I want
We're
to see
getting meaningful here.
I want to see what you answer. What do you think the biggest issue facing young women today in Australia is?
I think the biggest issue, and this is even for men really, is that we pay too much attention to our social media and how we need to look and how we need to perceive ourselves. And I think it's really important that you find who you are before you go out and project who you are.
How does one do that?
Well, it takes a long time. It may take well into your years before you learn to really accept yourself. But it's that thing is, there is only one you in this world. And you shouldn't be a clone of anyone else because then you're losing who you are. So for me, I am a very positive person. Very positive.
It's very hard to tell.
But yeah, for me, it's just, I wake up every morning and I'm like, there is no one else like you in this world. And you are a blessing to this world.
Okay, that all sounds really good. And I accept that.
But it's very hard to do.
Well, I'm going to ask you, like, what do you do when you have a bad day? Because to me, that's almost more important. It's like, you're generally positive, but everyone has a bad day. So what do you do when you're feeling not so positive?
Not so positive? I go, well, today's not too great. We'll continue with this day and we'll wake up happy tomorrow.
Do you have anything that you do that helps bring back the positivity?
I just basically have time to chill, just do things that I enjoy and just kind of relax myself to a point where I can really focus on my inner self and think, rewire my brain, basically. It's all about rewiring. So for me, it's just making sure I'm relaxed enough to really focus on myself and rewire my brain to be positive.
Nice. What if there is someone watching this who is considering getting into pageantry, but they have no idea what it's about, and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to be, Miss Congeniality, etc., etc.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Well, pretty much most of our girls who have won have never done a pageant before. Wow. And I've been there to help them through getting their headshots done, making sure that they know exactly what questions they're going to be asked in interview and how to do an interview and how to walk, how to talk. I've taught them that. So the main thing is, if you want to get into pageantry, I am a message away. You can message me, and there's other girls that I'm sure would be more than happy to help you out as well. Just message pageant girls that you've seen and ask them about it, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to talk you through it.
Most of them are really friendly.
Yeah, most of them are really friendly.
Yeah. Are you able to tell us who you'd be without the pageantry in your life?
Oh.
We'll go back to 13 and say you didn't enter that competition. Who would be sitting in front of me?
I honestly think that I still would have been very shy Ruby, and I probably would have been maybe a hermit playing video games at this point.
I'm actually having a hard time imagining shy Ruby.
Shy Ruby? Yeah. Well, it's very interesting when I think back to it, but basically it was just very, very quiet, didn't answer any questions, just kind of kept to herself.
How long did it take you to sort of, I assume it wasn't overnight you came out of your shell?
Oh, God, no.
Because I was very shy in school as well, and a lot of people just looking at me now, they can't believe it. But how long was that journey of sort of, I'm sure it's ongoing, but turning that corner?
Well, most of my schooling life, I was pretty chill. And I think that's because a lot of teachers have high expectations, and if you don't meet those expectations, then you're not good enough. So for me, it was most of my schooling life that I was very quiet,
That wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago. So it's really only been 16, 17, those years that I've been like, no, I'm going to be myself and do this now. It was towards when I got out of school that I was like, no, I have to change this. This is no fun.
How did you find your schooling experience, just in general? This seems to be a common theme in my
primary school.
I love primary school.
In year 5, I had the most amazing teacher ever because I I'm not going to say I wasn't the smartest kid, but it took me a long time to understand what was happening.
Okay.
Especially with English and math and all that type of thing. So my year 5 teacher actually created basically a whole new program for me that year.
Oh, wow.
So he could get me up to scratch, which was fantastic. He was amazing. And then high school, we had 100 kids in the whole of my primary school and only about 15 went to high school, which is massive. High school was massive. So for me, it was like, oh my God, there's so many people here. How do I deal with that? And I wasn't the most social. So it was like, oh, there's too many people. So yeah, it's just been that thing. It's just gone through life and thought, no, this is no fun just being shy and not going out into the world and doing what I want to do.
Okay. Well, social details.
Oh, yes, my social details. Okay, here we go. Hi. So my Facebook is Miss Australia International 2019, and then you can follow me on Instagram at Miss AU Intel 2019.
And I will subtitle that below in case you can't spell it, because I can't remember any of these titles anymore. It was simple for me when it was like, okay, there's Miss Galaxy, there's Miss Grand, and then there's other
Miss
ones.
Universe,
and then
Miss
there's
World.
like switch the worlds around, and then there's like ones that are this
Yeah.
long, and then it's Pacific International, Oceania International, then it's Oceania International. It's like, oh my God, I forget.
I think there's actually 3 international pageants. One in particular is a drag competition, which I think is really cool.
Okay. You probably should go into that one yourself, but okay.
Yeah, it's cool though.
Okay. Now, full disclosure, which is important. We tried doing this interview, was it last week?
Yeah, I think it was last week.
Yeah, I feel like I've been driving up to Maitland every weekend. I hate the M1, and today's been pouring. It's been absolutely abysmal. We finally got it.
It's horrible. It's horrible today. It really is.
But we did have the 10 questions. Yes. Can you remember all your answers? Some of the answers or none of the answers?
Some of the answers have changed because I was thinking about it and there's some things that have changed.
Okay, so we're going to go into the final 10 questions and we'll see how Ruby does. There is pass and fail here. So no, there's not. No, there's not.
It's millionaire hot seat, everyone.
Exactly. Okay, so question 1.
Yeah.
What is your favourite word?
Cupcake. It's such a cute word. It's like bubbles. It just makes you happy.
I was going to say, it reminds me of bubbles.
When you say
Cupcakes.
it, you smile.
Say cupcakes and look cross.
I can't do that.
What cross bunnies is going on there?
No, I can't do that.
Okay, say cupcakes without a smile.
Cupcakes.
Next time someone's upset, I'm just going to get them to say cupcakes. I don't think you can say cupcakes without smiling.
Yeah, you have to.
One more time.
Cupcakes.
You look like you're about to choke on something. Cupcakes.
It's really hard.
Oh, God.
It's really hard.
Okay. Question 2. What is your least favourite word?
I actually figured this out, was watching a gaming video. Succubus.
Why?
It has too many S's. Like, it's just...
okay.
I don't like words that have too many S's. Like, even soup. It's too S-y. If that makes sense.
Soup has 1 S.
I know, but the sound, it's just...
So you don't like snakes, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's like ASMR. It's just, I don't like it. Yes, I know.
I don't understand
We don't go into that.
No, that's fair. Whatever floats your boat. Question 3. What turns you on?
Makes me happy. Being around people who are happy and are positive.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Being around negative people, you just feel like you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've had a lot of trouble with people recently sighing. I can't stand people who sigh all the time. You just come up next in the morning, they're like, it's like, wow, gee, that morning's off to a good start. Question 4. It's not about me. Question 4, what turns you off?
People who are entitled and believe that, and there's some with pageant girls, not all pageant girls, they win a title and then they feel that they're entitled to many things. And I just want people to remember where you came from, remember the people who got you where you are before you decide that you are the best thing on the planet.
For real. And then to be fair, that's in every walk of life. It's definitely not a pageant only thing. There are people in every walk of life.
Oh, every walk of life, yes.
Okay. Question 5.
Yes.
Let's see if you remember what question 5 is.
It was a question. I know that much.
What sound or noise do you love?
Crackling fire. Even though I don't have a fire.
Yeah, there's no fireplace here.
No, there's no fireplace. It's just because I used to have one at the old house that we used to live in, and it just fills you with so much warmth, and you feel cozy, and just you feel at home. Even if you're not at home, you'll feel at home.
It'd be nice on a night like this or a day like this.
It would.
Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
Well, we just said S's, so the ASMR stuff, like people chewing their food really loudly.
Why does this one keep coming up?
Yeah, I don't like the ASMR. If you watch ASMR videos...
What is ASMR? I feel like this is something that's just been made up, but now people legitimately, like psychologists say, no, it's a real thing. What is it?
Basically, I don't know the exact
Is it like a fetish or something? Like people like hearing weird stuff?
I think I don't really know. It's just this thing that's become viral. And yeah,
it feels made up. Like I've heard one that like people like hearing the sound with someone holding the microphone like this and then chewing and then whispering in their ear.
Apparently, for some people, it gives them a tingly feeling. I don't know. It does. I just don't like it.
Again, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Invisibility.
Because?
Because.
You want to trip people over?
I'm not a rebel at all. So, not that I'm going to do anything bad, but it'd be kind of fun to be like, you're not invited into this party or this place. And say, well, watch me. And then invisible, go in.
I seem to remember the last time, it's coming back to my head. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. You said you wanted to go rob a bank.
No, you
Wasn't that you?
You said...
Oh, was that what?
You put that suggestion forward, and I was like, no, not that bad. I mean, though, like, you know, if there's a fashion show on in Sydney and you can't get in, then you just go invisible and you're like, no, I'm watching this fashion show.
So when you said you weren't a rebel...
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not a rebel. I mean, I'm not going to go out and go against the law.
Okay.
But it'd be kind of cool just for one day to be like, oh, I did that.
Okay. Question 8. What occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Forensics. And we spoke about this last time.
Because
I just find it super interesting to see how someone has died, because they may not have marks or anything on them, so you don't know what's happened. Then it's like, oh, this person has been drugged, or, you know, they were drowned, or it's just very interesting to me.
How would you be around the corpse?
Well, I mean...
Because you couldn't do the forensics without looking at the corpse.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I've never seen a dead person, so I wouldn't know. But I've seen, like, gory things, and I mean, it's not... Well, you probably will get a few gory stuff in forensics, but it just doesn't really bother me.
That was unexpected.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more turning into a serial killer now. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of a bit like, just slowly
back away and head for the door. I'll leave you here by yourself. Question 9. What occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Embalming.
That's not actually an occupation these days, is it?
Well, funeral services. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of talk about death.
Death, yeah.
Yeah. All right. On the subject of death, question 10. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
As I was basically saying before, you are good enough. You did it. You did everything you wanted to achieve.
Lovely. Okay. Well, thank you to Ruby for her time.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Third time lucky, huh?
Yes, third time lucky. And then we'll get there and it'll be like, the cameras didn't work, none of it's recording.
Say that. No, it's record. I can't do it again.
No.
I love the interview, but the drive up from Sydney to Maitland, it's so...
Well, if we ask this, like, similar questions, it's going to be like, I know exactly what she's going to answer with.
Just phone it in. Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
We'll speak to you next time. Yeah. Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to get details of our new episodes as they drop, and connect with us on social at The Pageant Project. Speak to you next time.